Welcome to Shepherd's Fold Ministries, where we're going to talk about the statement, I often feel lonely or isolated. This statement was part of a research project that was conducted in 2019, the first ever multi denominational study of retired ministers. And what I mean by retired ministers are preachers, missionaries, staff members, chaplains, and age 67 and older or have official retirement status. The experts at Lifeway Research conducted the research project, and it was commissioned by Shepherd's Fold Ministries. We measured the spiritual, social, physical, and financial well being of each individual who took part in the survey, and then measured 161 variables that could make a difference in how someone experienced well being in their life. We needed 500 participants in order for it to be academically verifiable. We received nearly 5 times that amount. In fact, the people from Lifeway, the statisticians said, we're getting repeated results here. And the the man who was in charge of the project, when he sat down with me to explain the project to me, said, "Now, technically, we're not supposed to use the words absolute certainty when it comes to any kind of research, but I will say we are very, very, very confident that we know the answers that we have." So this was grant funded. Cost over $36,000, 433 pages of results, and here is this issue. I often feel lonely or isolated. We ask all the participants to respond to that question. 49% chose strongly disagree. This is a good thing. Nearly half of those who were part of the study said, I strongly disagree with this negative statement. I often feel lonely or isolated. 18% said somewhat disagree. 3% said not sure. Now, I didn't give you that option on the test that you took, but they had that option. 3% chose that. 13% said somewhat agree, and 9% said I strongly agree with this statement. Here's why this is important. And I've put this in graph form. We had the well-being numbers, and I took those numbers and put them into a graph form. This graph is to represent a little bit like a car dashboard. If the engine is cool and things are running well, it's over here in the blue section, up to medium yellow, and then red hot, danger zone if things are not going well. So this represents the variety of scores from doing very well with well-being to high risk and struggling with well-being. Now, so among the 49% who chose strongly disagree, they averaged a number amount that fits into this category right here. In other words, they're doing very, very, you couldn't be doing better when it comes to their overall well being. One answer down is somewhat disagree, and you can see the large difference in the well being among those who said somewhat disagree versus those who say strongly disagree. You see, not sure, they graded out just right in the middle or a little bit to the red side of the middle. Somewhat agree, into the red zone. Strongly agree, they were the worst scores that we saw in the whole project. Now, it's my contention that wherever you may find yourself on this chart, if we can move to the left, even move from strongly agree to somewhat agree, move out of loneliness or isolation, move from somewhat agree to somewhat disagree, move from somewhat disagree to strongly disagree. Any movement that decreases loneliness or isolation and the consistency of that will, it's my contention, improve the overall well-being of your life. I believe that's what the research is saying here. How? How do we do that? I'm going to give you a couple suggestions, 3 suggestions. One is this: to cultivate friendships beyond your circle of ministry assignment. I see ministers very often who pour all their lives into the congregation in which they are to serve, and that is to be done for sure. Um, but uh, when that is over and there is a reassignment, most often that minister doesn't feel clear to stay very connected to those who were part of the ongoing ministry there. So it's important to cultivate friendships beyond the scope of your ministry assignment. Now, when I say cultivate, I mean two things. One is to go make relationships. In other words, show the initiative to not say, well, no one called me. No, instead, you go make those relationships. And secondly, keep them up. So, the initiative to make new friends and the continuation of staying close to them is the way that we cultivate friendships beyond the circle of our ministry assignment. Next is to pour peace and to lavish love onto family and ministry relationships. And there's a sense in which, you, you don't choose your family and you don't choose every person who's part of the ministry assignment in which you serve. And so, um, in the in the in the one where we're cultivating relationships, friendships, we go make the relationships that we want. These we're dealing with the people who are part of our lives. Romans says to if it, as far as it depends on us to live at peace with every person, and that's what I'm talking about here: to pour peace and to lavish love onto family and ministry relationships that are a part of our lives that we can't get away from for good or for bad. Let's just make those peaceful and loving and serve others. Speaking of serving others, that's my final suggestion here. To serve those right in front of you today. I believe that every person has the opportunity to serve someone every day. It could be a prayer partner. It could be helping in some kind of way. In fact, on our website, shepherdsfoldministries.com, on our Godly Impact page, we have a place for you to um, find there a growing list of ministry opportunities, or serving opportunities might be a better word. Uh, we have over 35 ways of living out some act of service for somebody today. People are right in front of us. And one of the ways that we move past loneliness and isolation is to help others. The need will always be there, and we can be empowered and trained to look for those opportunities and to serve people today. We'll help you with that at our Godly Impact page at shepherdsfoldministries.com. But I encourage you to take the initiative to serve others today. May we be those who move past loneliness and isolation by taking the initiative to reach out, to care, and to serve.